Hello and welcome to day 2 of Vlogmas on the Plot Twist podcast. Hi, my name is Catherine, and I am coming to you from Berlin, Germany, where today I think it's a sort of a drizzly day. I'm sitting right by the window. Yesterday my boys, ages 4 and 7, nourished the hope that it was going to snow, because it did a little bit, but we are around 0 degrees, so now we're above freezing point again. And yesterday we were just about below what had snowed, so they were so excited. They said, "Well, that's a start, Mom. I hope it's gonna snow more." And I think they hoped to wake up to like a white landscape, sort of, to like everything covered in white. And of course they didn't. Usually it doesn't snow, or maybe usually we used to get one good snow every winter, and by that I mean a snow that lasts for about 2-3 days on the ground, and then it's gone. Now we're down to every so many years it snows. So yeah, but they hope and pray that it's gonna snow, and I hope it for them and for us too. But today it's just drizzly. So I'm greeting you on a somewhat murky day, which you can tell because it's so dark again. But that's just, what we're dealing with in winter. I love it when it's dark out. I really do. I love it when I get up and it's dark. And I'm already sorry that December 21st is so close, that after that the days are going to get longer and the nights are going to get shorter. I wish that day was still quite some time away, because we're coming from such warm weather. In October, but I think also in November, it was just ridiculously warm until all of a sudden it wasn't. And the transition was so rough that I never really got to celebrate those dark mornings, really. And they're fleeting like everything. They're gone so fast. Like, this time is over so fast. And I really want for the days to get a little shorter for quite some time, because I love it when I get up and it's dark, and I love it when it gets dark in the afternoon. I didn't used to, but now I really enjoy the hell out of this, and it's something I dream about during summer. I really do. Hello, my name is Katarina, and I love it when it's dark outside. So yeah, I do. I love it. It makes me so happy when it's dark out and I get up in the morning at, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and can light a candle and can enjoy a few, possibly hours of it being dark outside. It's the coziest for me. Today I'm drinking out of my new cup that was part of my advent calendar box. And isn't that great? Isn't that gorgeous? I love the colors. It's the perfect sort of royal blue. I love this light pink, and also the green that does not have too much yellow in it. Perfect. I really love it. And with like this gold brim. I don't know if you can see this. But yeah, I'm drinking my usual black tea. And I can show you the 2 advent calendar mittens that I made for my daughter last night. So I finished number 20. I hope you can see this. And this is the back. In hindsight, I would have loved to have bought another light contrasting color, not just white, because I don't want every other mitten to have white in it. I should have had more gold, and I only had leftovers, and I thought they were going to last, but they don't. So I got myself into a situation where I have this sort of purple and green, where yes, you can, I don't know what it looks like on screen, but I can make out the number 20, no problem at all. And also the back, I think, turned out really nice, but a little more contrast wouldn't have hurt. Okay. If I'm ever to knit another one of these, I'm gonna tweak my color palette, and also I think I'm going to re-knit some. No, interestingly, I'm not going to re-knit some of them, but my oldest son ended up with a mitten such as this. This is today's number 2. I hope you can see this because right now I don't see it. But so this is his number 2. And also I don't know if you can see this because this is super low contrast, which I don't love. I don't know, that was quite some time ago when I knit this first installment of the Julevotter advent calendar. And also like he has these little hangers on there. I didn't do it for the other 2 because I figured if I'm going to hang them, I'm going to string them all on one line or rope or whatever. I'm not going to individually hang them. But I like it with the hanger too. Anyway, so this is so low contrast that you really cannot, I don't find it satisfying at all. And I didn't choose the colors right. I just did not. Because I didn't know any better, I assume. I don't know why I continued knitting this when it's such low contrast. So, because I mean, compared to number 24, which is right there, right? So, no, this is nothing I can live with any longer. So I told him this morning, I'm going to re-knit some of those mittens for you. And he was like, no, I want to keep those that I've always had. And I thought, oh, isn't that so cute? And isn't that what I preach when I always say, it's important that we get attached to the things that we own because we long as humans, we long for connection, not only to people, but also to items. And then I thought, oh my goodness, he is right. This is the ones that he's had all his life, right? This is the one that I put up when he was 2 years old. So he wants to keep this one. And I said, okay, so then I'm going to duplicate stitch the number in a color that matches, that is nice, but that is still much more of a contrast. And I'm going to go through the pain of duplicate stitching all of this, which cannot possibly take up more time than re-knitting the entire mitten, or those ones where it's really low contrast. It's like 5 or 6 that need tweaking. So this is what I'm going to be doing. And I was really, almost a little touched when he said, I want to keep those that I've always had because this is my calendar, right? Please don't replace it. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm not going to. And last night, so I knit number 20 last night, and I also knit number 24 just because I wanted to jump ahead. And those 21 to 24 mittens are the ones where they use 3 colors or sometimes even 4, but I go by 3. And so this is what I produced, and this is the back. And isn't that so fun? And I'm going to try and show you how it glitters, sparkles. Can you see that? I don't know if that's doing anything to help really, but I held a silver thread with that white yarn and wanted it to sparkle a little bit. I thought, to be honest, it would come out stronger, but that's okay. That's okay. In the past, I thought about duplicate stitching those numbers of my oldest son's advent calendar that are not as visible, that are not as high contrast, with this silver thread. But now that I see how how it comes out, I don't think I'm going to do it. Even if top stitching would, bring it more to the surface, obviously, but I think it's not prominent enough to save the situation there. But I do love the back. Isn't that so cool? With a crown on what for us is Christmas. So the 24th is the big day, right? So yeah, those are my mittens for today. And I wanted to tell you, the one not for today, but the ones that I made last night. So 3 more to go, and then I will have this off my back. Yes, and in the vein of a sustainable holiday season that I talked about in my last podcast that I filmed a few days ago, I can now add that I found what I think is a perfect gift for my boys. So my boys haven't really uttered like one bigger wish, which yay, but I do want for them to have like a gift under the tree that they can really get excited about and enjoy, that ideally they can share and play with together. So I want for there to be some excitement. I don't want it to be only super low key, because I remember as a kid how much I loved this. And I think they've done such a good job with decluttering with me over the last few weeks. And yeah, and I think it is a good moment in time to give them a nice, cool, new, well, toy, for like a better word, that they can play with. But nothing really came to my mind, and nothing that I thought they would need or use really, actually. And usually they know what they have in mind, like what they envision for their kids' room, that they can play with together. And so I thought, if they don't come up with anything, they really do not need anything. And the only thing that, especially my younger son, but also the older one, kept saying is they want more tools, because they love building stuff. And they started running around, they have a few tools, and they started running around the apartment and taking our furniture apart almost. And they screwed off the, oh man, what's it called? The locks from our doors. Not off, but they started unscrewing the locks. And that led to quite a bit of conflict, because I kept saying on a daily basis, leave the locks in the doors. that's falls into the category of sentences that only make sense when you have kids, right? And my husband got quite angry when they actually damaged one door. And this is an old building, so you have to be careful with stuff. So anyway, so this was not going to work, right? And giving them more tools would kind of be crazy. So what I thought about this for quite some time, and it paid off, because all of a sudden I knew what I was going to give them. There is a sort of kids toy series that has been around forever, because I remember that from kindergarten. And they make tools out of wood, and they have wooden screws, but like actual screws, just out of wood and a little bigger. And all sorts of like wooden pieces that you need to screw something together, like to really build your own whatever you want to build. And those are so versatile and so cool. And I thought, that is exactly what they can really use. That's a sort of tool that I can leave them with, in their room, and I don't have to check on them every 5 seconds. These are all things that can fall into the hands of our youngest daughter, and we don't have to panic. So I thought, this is perfect, and I can really envision them sitting in their room, playing with those tools and with those screws and with the wooden panels and with all of those things for days and days and days. And so I thought, okay, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And I checked online, because I wanted to get them used, right? I wanted to get them secondhand. And I found them there. I mean, these are really toys you can find in excellent condition. Even if it wasn't, you could gift them, right? But it's such a joy to go secondhand shopping for those things. A, they cost nothing, really. They come at a very low price. And B, you have such a selection online on a secondhand platform that is really cool. And so now I'm buying that online and used, which makes me very happy, because I can get the cool, bigger sort of present used. That's what I mean. What you're looking for, most likely it already exists and someone doesn't need it anymore. It comes at a low price, which is cool, but more than anything, I'm really happy that it doesn't have, I don't have to go to a store and buy something new, because the world is full of toys, right? There are so many toys out there. that I don't think it makes much sense to keep buying new toys, right? Sometimes it does, but usually it doesn't. So that made my heart very happy, and I think it is really the perfect gift for them. So I hope that this is going to play out like I envision it, but I'm very happy with that decision. And I'm also happy, I have to say, that I sat with that thought. Like, I really thought about what we want to gift them. And I think that is really key to making good Christmas choices or gifting choices for whatever occasion. That if at all possible, we take the time to really think about what sort of gift might be good and might be good for all of us, right? Maybe something that my boys, so I wanted to check off several boxes. I wanted something that my boys would actually use, something that would bring them joy for quite some time, something that would, how do you say, it's still that hunger for construction, sort of, right? For playing with tools and building something, being creative in that way. And that set that I found, I think, is really allows for so much creativity, because it's not it doesn't point you in one direction so much, but it really, you can build anything with that. So, and I wanted for me to be happy with that gift in the sense that it wasn't too big and wasn't too sort of pointless in that they have so many things. I wanted it to be something that they would really love and that I wouldn't have to buy new. I don't want to make Christmas all about putting new clutter into the world, but I thought, so how can I be happy with that gifting choice? And now we're all of us, I think, going to be happy with that. I think, like I said, I think this is really perfect. I'm very excited about this. I can't wait for those 2 packages to arrive so that I can sort through it and like put it together nicely. And oh my God, I'm really looking forward to that. And then I thought I might use the Vlogmas episodes to answer some of the questions that some of you left for me, which I meant to answer in previous podcast episodes. I've tried to squeeze in a Q&A section several times, and it never worked. Otherwise, the videos would have been just super long, and I didn't want to go for that. So I think I'm going to use the Vlogmas episodes to answer some of those questions, or questions that keep coming. So if you have questions that you would like to see answered, please leave them in the comments below, and I will pick them up or comment during one of the following Vlogmas episodes. A question that, so I picked out 2 for today. So a question that came up several times is, and you are very kind, how do you speak such good English? Thank you very much. I'm going to talk about that in combination with the other question, which is, what do you do work-wise? Do you work from home? Do you work at all now with the little ones? And so I'm going to answer those sort of together because they belong together. So I majored in English and Italian. So I had 2 majors at college, English and Italian. So I know my way around Italian literature. I am theoretically fluent in Italian, but practically I don't know, because I haven't spoken in quite a while now. Ever since I graduated, I haven't had that regular sort of longer talks in Italian on a regular basis, right? So that was my one major, and my other was English, and that was the one that I loved the most. I loved studying English. So I the way that it works here is you study English and U.S. American literature and linguistics. And linguistics, I liked it fine, but I always loved the literature classes. And so I remained in American studies. So after I graduated, I earned my PhD here in Berlin at Humboldt University, which is where I also went to college, and or where I studied. And so, yeah, I was a PhD candidate, and I finished writing my book a few years ago when I was just pregnant with my daughter. So that would have been 2020. April of 2020 is when I finished and handed in my book. When I was very pregnant, I defended it. I had my disputation, my defense, and when she was, it got published when she was just born. So yeah, so that's that. I wrote about contemporary U.S. American fiction, and that was great fun for a while. And I still think studying English literature is the best thing you can do. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's so much fun. I taught at college. I taught introduction to literature, a text analysis class, which text analysis doesn't sound like fun, but it is great fun. And it gave me the chance to talk about poetry, drama, and prose with my students, and that was really cool. So yeah, I taught this for a few years, and that was always great fun. But the more kids that I had, the less in tune I sort of was with the academic, or with, well, I want to say academic workload, and also the expectations in academia with regard to like working hours and a commitment to publishing stuff. And well, I could have obviously kept up with that, but it would have come at a great cost that I wasn't, willing to pay. So I withdrew from academia. I didn't want to remain in academia after my PhD, which I knew once my first son was born, and then I made good on that promise to myself sort of when my daughter was born. So I'm no longer in that academia game, and I'm not sorry that I opted out, but it was also something that I really loved doing, and that's where my English comes from. I mean, it's no wonder that I studied 2 languages, because that's what I'm good at. So languages and imitation sort of is imitating sounds and stuff is what I'm good at. That's what comes natural to me. So that was always what I was good at school, and those were the subjects that I never had to worry about, sort of. It wasn't a big surprise that I went for that, even if I initially wanted to become an actress, and I started college later because of that, because I wanted to go for that option. I really wanted to become an actress, but I never did. Obviously I never did, which is also okay. Like, I don't have, how do you say that? I don't regret that. But growing up, that was always my plan, to become an actress. I did go to college for my English and Italian major, and I learned languages like a crazy person, and I read like a crazy person, and I loved it like a crazy person. I loved everything about it. And anyway, so that's how I surrounded myself with a whole lot of English. Both in the sense of like literature and learning all kinds of words that you wouldn't necessarily come across every day in your everyday language, and also in the sense of just being surrounded by the language at all times, and obviously also watching many English-speaking movies, series, following people like Stephen Colbert, who nobody in my circle of friends sort of really knew. I mean, now I think they might, but that was never really on their radar. Or people like Ellen, who, yes, I mean, my husband and I, we know them, but it's not it's not a household name here, obviously. And I always had sort of one foot in that other culture that I studied, so I was very much surrounded by English, also British English. And I think my British accent isn't too shabby, but I have to concentrate on it so much more than on when I speak American, that I don't usually do it unless I'm in the UK. Because I haven't lived anywhere in the States or in Canada or in the UK for that matter. So I've traveled to the UK on several occasions. And I've spent one summer, so that was 2.5 months, in New York City. So that's where I was on a research trip in 2014. And yeah, I can't believe it's that long ago. How did so much time pass? It's like it feels like I've been there like 2 years ago, and it's 8.5 years ago. Crazy. So yeah, that's the only time I actually really spent for a longer time in an English-speaking country. I did go to Italy for 6 months as an Erasmus student to study there. So I studied in Pisa, and that's how my Italian got much more fluent than it was at the time. Even though it wasn't too shabby, but that's how I really got into the language. And yeah, and as for work, in Germany, for when you have a child, you get a year that you can take off to be with that kid, and the other person, or you get, I think, what is it now, 14 or 15 months combined that you can share amongst those two parents. I have been home a lot with the kids when they were little, and with my daughter a bit longer because, I don't know, just because. And yeah, also because I didn't really have that job at college to return to. And I was in that process of like refiguring out what I'm going to do. I have a freelance job that is going to begin in February. I'm going to explain to you what that is, just roughly. It's something that I've done before, but that I'm still learning. So I started, I'm still an apprentice, sort of, and I started learning that in, when I was still writing my book, when I was still doing my PhD. And then I went on a longer break because I had my daughter. And now I'm getting back into that. It's a writing job, and I write, I learn how to write the German texts for foreign language movies or TV series, right? Because everything in Germany is dubbed. Everything that ends up on Netflix or whichever platform, every movie that hits the cinemas, everything is dubbed. So you have German actors and actresses in the studio speaking over the original voice, which isn't per se something that I love because it takes away much of the actual acting. And you have to have a person, a director who actually does a good job and doesn't butcher the movie. So I'm working for someone who's very good at this, and we have a lot of experience, and she teaches me how to write those books, so the German texts. And that's much harder than you may think because you have to like capture the meaning, translate as accurately as you can, and also match the text to the movement of the lips, so that it looks plausible, sort of. Which sometimes with English and German is pretty easy, and sometimes is so hard. That's what I will be working on come February. I'm excited for it, and I'm preparing myself now with like rewatching older seasons of that show that I'll be working on, and refamiliarizing myself with how exactly this show has been translated in the past, and I have been part of that team before, so I'm trying to get back into that game, sort of. So that is something that I would like to be able and do on a regular basis, as a proper sort of translator in that field, without the help or the guidance, of my mentor that I now have. So that is my objective, but the perspective, sort of. And now I'm still sort of in that apprentice phase. I'm still learning how to do that. So that's the story behind my work. That's what I used to do and what I am going to do, at least on a freelance sort of basis. I mean, all this translating work is done on on a freelance basis, but I just don't know how many jobs I will get or be able to accept, and so on and so on. But that's what freelancers deal with, right? So, and I've always wanted to work from home. That is very important to me. I don't like the idea of an office. I don't like to go someplace to work. I want to be home. I always wanted to work from home. This is where I am most efficient and most happiest. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that new freelance job, and it also comes with challenges for me because, like I said, I'm still learning that, and I'm excited and a little anxious is too big a word, but I'm just hoping that I'll be able to do it well, and that the project is going to go well, and it's going to be a good experience. But I have to say, now that I'm rewatching the show in German too, in German and English, because I'm comparing and so on, the German version is very well done. I really have to say that, which I have nothing to do with. But the actualization of like how they have dubbed everything, it really works in German too. And that makes me very happy because I feel like I'm working on a project that is really cool and is really fun and it's going to be good. I really think it is going to be a good third season that we're going to produce somehow the German texts for that season. I'm not involved in the actual movie making or any of that. I'm just involved in the dubbing industry, if that's something that makes sense to you. Yeah, so that's been a long Vlogmas episode for December 2nd. I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope you have a beautiful day and can do Christmassy stuff or not, and just relax into the day and the withholding from all the busyness of the season. Whatever it is that you're doing, I hope you have a good day and make the best of it and enjoy your day. And I hope to see you again tomorrow when I'm back, when I hope I'm going to be back here for another Vlogmas episode. If you have more questions that you would like to hear answered, please just leave them in the comment section below, and I will certainly get back to them. If there are other things ideas that you might have for Vlogmas, just let me know. Other things you would like me to talk about, I thought I might take out some older knits I have and just talk about some older patterns. Yeah, something like that. Okay, take care, you guys. Thanks for letting me hang out with you for a little bit today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.